1 week removed from the world's fastest half mile, BRP is off to one of the tightest quarter miles in iRacing. The Fairbury Speedway is the next step for Brandon Plank's championship campaign or someone else's comeback story. Hello and welcome to Pit Stop TV. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Joe Donahue. Joe, welcome to the virtual Fairbury, Illinois for another 100 story writing laps in this long 14-race season.
And another 100 laps of excitement and a lot of energy, and we're only 3 races away from the end of it. It's amazing to think about how far we've come, and honestly, it kind of went in the flash of an eye, and it's in the past, but it's exciting, and it's kind of a bummer, and it's all going to come down to this little, and I mean little, short track in Illinois. And one of the tracks that I think in iRacing a lot of people look forward to racing at, and it has a very powerful fan base, and a lot of people really love this place. So this is the kind of place that some of these guys who maybe like it a little more or have more time behind the wheel with it, you're going to see them kind of rise to the top. But it's a curveball, and especially after last week, it's a big change for these guys.
Yeah, especially after last week and the way the points went after last week, with a lot of results getting changed up in the last literal moments at Bristol. A lot has changed. That said, a lot is also rather similar, at least in the order of these drivers, but I can promise you a lot has changed with the point totals. Brandon Plank now has a 12-point lead after Bristol, and we've seen this before, right? It used to be Maxime Plant in that role, stretching that lead out ever so slightly over Travis Miller right at the end of these seasons. New players in the game, new scenarios, but much of the same story.
Yeah, so Brandon Plank obviously took the win last week, and he was able to extend his lead a little bit here over Travis Miller, who had a rough go of things, to be fair. He did charge on, and we know Travis Miller is somebody who's very able to overcome adversity in this series. Other guys, Brett Rolls, Andrew Clark was one that he did not have a great week last week, but there were a lot of change-ups because you had a very big change-up of a racetrack. Bristol's just a curveball in the season, and Fairbury is nonetheless the same deal. It's going to give a lot of these guys an opportunity to get big points that maybe they haven't just been able to grasp yet. You look at guys like Michael Hackett hasn't really broken through. He hasn't gotten his first top 3 of the season. Mike Wenner's been really solid and consistent, but hasn't gotten that big break yet. Jeff Sharp could surprise people. Joe Matthews had a great start to last week. Scott Fritz even has been very strong. Tanner Correa, Brett House, all these guys, they have an opportunity here to use a very unique and different track and surface and race to take advantage of that as we close in, 3 races, including this one, to the end of the championship.
Yeah, things are tightening down. I think the vice grip is certainly on everybody's neck at this point in the season. And, I mean, Brett Rolls just had his first non-top 5 finish, and it hurts him a little bit, but is saved by that one drop week these drivers do have. And now you have to wonder, with Fairbury tonight, this is the easiest opportunity, I think, next to maybe Kokomo, for anybody to have issues and anybody to drop out of the championship battle or whatever battle they're in. This has to be pretty thin ice for each of the top 3, really, but especially Brett Rolls, who doesn't have a win yet and is the furthest back of those 3 and really of those 4 that's fighting for a championship. I think Andrew Clark, you can tread a bit heavier, maybe, because you're already on a comeback, and if it goes wrong, well, you give it your best shot. 3 wins is still a pretty good rally when it's all said and done. Andrew Clark has had a fantastic season, so a lot of different storylines, a lot to watch for this evening in race number 12 of 14. And we talk about 3 races left, including tonight here at Fairbury. Here is the full season schedule. It started way back on November 8th in Sarver, Pennsylvania, and we're now on to Fairbury, Illinois. And thankfully, it's not so snowy, it's not so cold, it's a little bit warmer. Eldora, I'm trying to think of how to explain Eldora and Charlotte, honestly. I'm glad that we're going to half miles these next 2 races. I think I talked about that earlier with you guys off air. It's going to help sort this field out a little bit more nicely. This wild card quarter mile is nice for race 12, but I like having 2 slightly calmer races to wrap the season up.
Yeah, and I definitely think when you follow the race we had at Lanier, I mean, Lanier itself isn't like Bristol and Fairbury, where it's a real curveball of a racetrack, but we had a heck of a race at Lanier, and then Bristol, the big high banks, and it's fast, and then you come to Eldora, and it's absolutely a bull ring. It's going to be nice for these guys to have 2 tracks. They're a little bit, and I'll use this sparingly, but a little bit easier going. and a little bit more predictable. We've had this whole season, we've talked about the differences week to week at racetracks. We go from Volusia to Limaland to Weedsport early in the season. We went from USA to Kokomo to Volusia again later in the season. We've just been going back and forth between short tracks, big tracks, flat tracks, banked tracks all season long, and that's really been shaping up the championship well. It's proving who's really the most consistent, strong driver, but it is going to be really nice for these guys to close out kind of on a little bit more predictable basis and have a little bit more week to week that they can carry momentum-wise and knowledge-wise when they're racing these cars, because we've just been going back and forth between big tracks and small tracks, and it's been really exciting and it's been really great for the series. But these guys definitely could use that little bit of breathing room as they already get their heartbeats up a little bit as they get to the end of the championship anyway. So maybe it'll give them a little bit of a break.
Your fastest 3 in practice as we roll over to qualifying. Those were Clark, Hackett, and Josh Mbowski. The last thing I do want to talk about with this schedule, can I add to what you were saying? There's the lack of rhythm has been a good thing. There hasn't been any opportunity for anybody to get too comfortable. Even when Andrew Clark went on that stretch through the midseason, those wins came at USA, Volusia, Lanier, if I recall, or was it Cedar Lake? Volusia, Lanier, Lanier was DeRitter. So either way, it was right in the middle. It was very, very diverse racetracks. Must have been Cedar Lake, Kokomo, Volusia. I think that sounds right.
Yes, that is correct.
So yeah, still very diverse racetracks, all very different for those 3 wins that he got right in the midseason. Reynolds fastest on the first lap. That quickly gets upset by Beagle as we are fully into qualifying here at the Fairbury Speedway. Gavin Isley, I think I said Isley the first time. Isley in that white 18 now. That is looking good up front. This would usually be a track that I wouldn't expect him to be quite as fast at. It's not a bottom feeder track usually, but hey, it works out. There's Wild Child, Tanner Correa, second on the board. Third going to Beagle, fourth to Pachalski, as the rest of these guys get some of their laps in. Here's a look at Tyler Josh Mbowski.
And Tyler Josh Mbowski coming around right now. This is a guy who's had some pretty standout performances. He was very strong in the beginning of the night last week. Matt DeRitter, another guy who's been strong lately. He comes around 1 and 2 right there. And there's Brandon Plank on the clock right in the 77X. And we'll see what kind of times we can put up. Gavin Isley, Tanner Correa, Ryan Beagle. They're still your top 3 as these guys start coming through and finishing up these laps. Qualifying goes quick over here, Andrew.
Plank is going to go, 21st quick. That is not good for Brandon Plank. This might be the track then where Travis Miller is able to do something. I recall that yellow 22 being pretty good here last season in the late models. We'll see what he can do as Fritz now goes fastest. Miller, first lap. Oh, third. 13 1,000ths, and it's a tie almost on the pole. I think that's what you were about to mention. Up top for the difference for the pole. Miller can't do anything about it the second lap. Scott Fritz, Gavin Isley, dead even.
That's really cool to see. I'm almost at a loss for words. And you look at the top 4 even. I mean, the top 4, 0.015 back to Andrew Clark in 4th place. So the top 4 drivers are all, oh, man. Yeah, I don't even know what more to say about it. It speaks for itself how close those guys are at the top of the board and how competitive they're all going to try to be right now. Especially, Travis Miller, who's fighting for his championship hopes right now. He's going to want to put in those really good lap times, and he's showing, him and Beef Esports, they're putting it together.
It is quite a bit warmer here in Fairbury, virtual Fairbury, than it would be this time of year. 87 degrees on the track, so it's baking a little bit. That's going to dry things out a lot. We're going to get a very dry, slick track by the end of the night. 78 degrees in the air, so not too bad. That would feel great right now, let me tell you. Heat 1 on the way. We'll get our first chance to pay some points out to these guys. I guess our first chance aside from qualifying, where those points go to Scott Fritz. Lining up on pole for Heat number 1, then, it is our fast time of the day. Not that one, this one. Scott Fritz on pole for Heat 1 has the best opportunity of anybody to start the day with 4 points. Andrew Clark, he will start second. Tyler Pachalski will roll off third in Heat number 1, right alongside of Dan Sider. Starting 5th in Heat 1, that's Brett Rolls. Mike Winter will roll off 6th. Matt DeRitter will start this heat in 7th position. Adam Hilton 8th, and Richie Pereira will roll up in 9th for heat number 1. Very quick pace laps here. We're already almost done with the first one, and these guys are ready to go after it. 4 transfers from this one. We'll have 3 of 4. That means we have 12 to transfer on from heats.
Yeah, and this is going to be really exciting to watch right here with Scott Fritz and Andrew Clark on the pole and front row, respectively. Fritz always good at the very beginning of nights. Andrew Clark definitely going to look to rebound in the championship hopes he's got, so it's going to be really exciting to see what goes down when they get that green flag, Andrew.
And it's coming here in just a moment. Through turns 3 and 4, you can see the field working up to our first green flag of the evening. Green flag flies, Heat 1 is underway. A big send-off at the start for Clark. He got the lead for a moment, hands it back over to Scott Fritz. Pachalski's challenging right there in third. And look at Dan Sider falling back. Oh, a stack up on the top side. Rolls takes over the final transfer.
Yeah, Rolls kind of, a little bit of contact between himself and Sider right there, sent the 77 backwards and the rest of those guys. So it's cleared out the top 4 with Mike Wenner still trying to hold on just barely and trying to catch back up to Brett Rolls. Now is 1, 2, 3, 4. They come past the line again. They're a little bit separated as Brett Roll follows that train. Pachalski in third right there, so pretty strong run for the 21P right now. Clark holding on to Fritz. He gave him a run on that first lap, but it's not going yet, and Fritz has taken that lead.
Fritz still out front, Clark second, then it's Pachalski and Rolls. Not much has changed there. Lap 5 about to be wrapped up. That's how quickly they go here at Fairbury. Already on to lap 6. And the entire field, single file, are on the top side to rid of the last of them.
Yeah, it's definitely still a young track, and especially up at the top side of the racetrack. And we know Scott Fritz is really good when the track's still tacky. He's got 4 heat wins this season so far. Looking for his 5th right now. He's going to have 2 more times around the track to hold off Andrew Clark, and he'll be able to do it.
Watching these guys roll around, this is the battle up front for 4 points in heat number 1, and that corner might have done it for Scott Fritz out front. Down the backstretch they go, Andrew Clark second. The battle will align to get 4 points out front. Will go clearly to Scott Fritz. Clark, Pachalski, and Rolls also advance. Everybody else will go through the consies. We shouldn't be sending anybody home tonight. But we said that last week, too, when we found out pretty quickly that Dylan Davidson did not quite make the feature. We will see how things go tonight. Up front, we have got another field of 8 this time for heat number 2. Joe, they're all yours.
Oh boy, here we go. We start on the inside. The Catfish driver, Gavin Isley, in car number 18, all white tonight. Tanner Correa starts to his outside for Beef Esports. Row number 2 starts on the inside with Straight Jacket Michael Hackett in the 84H, and to his outside driver we're looking for big things out of Jeff Sharp. Row number 3 starts on the inside with Dean Meitzler in the car number 49, and to his outside is going to be one of our real-world drivers in the number 60, Brian Berger. And rolling off on the last row for this grid, Joe Matthews starting off the inside in the number 9 machine, and the Beef in car number 88 is Corby Daniels.
8 cars, your field for heat number 2. Thank you for joining us this evening here on Pit Stop TV and with all of our partners watching along. Big No Racing Products, MDR Designs, Jam Performance, Lindy Direct, Creative Turnings, and the Super Dirt Car Series as we get ready for heat number 2 on the evening. We should have just one more after this one, and then we will have a field, well, we'll have consies, I guess, and then we'll have a field of 24, 26 for a feature race. Green flag is out in heat 2, and you can see the field battling down to turn 1 from the overhead. Already a lot of contact. Jeff Sharp up and over, and that is his plans of advancing straight on. Dashed already. The rest of the field continues on. Correa race leader after about 2 laps.
Tanner Correa to the top side of the racetrack. He takes over from the pole sitter in this heat race, Gavin Isley. He's holding on strong. You see Jeff Sharp still chugging along back there, so good for Jeff to just keep on chugging and get to the end of this one. Correa leads the way. Isley closed the gap a little. Straight Jacket still back there. That car's nice and shiny tonight, looking good and looking clean in third place right now. Joe Matthews, that final transfer spot, riding on board, looking backwards. Dean Meitzler's not giving him a lot of breathing room right now.
Dean is a little ways back. It's going to be tough in any one corner to make the move here. Dean's got to set it up for a lap or so. He's only got 4 more to do it here as we cross halfway. Cross flags in heat 1, or 2. Heat 2. Oh, and a wheelie there from Dean Meitzler. That's not going to do it.
That's going to let Brian Berger down the inside right there. Oh, that car's toasted right there. You can see it crabbing down the straightaway. Dean's going to have to just hold on to this and get to the end of the heat race.
Yeah, he is dropping back. He's likely going to lose that spot to Corby Daniels as well. Back up front, 2 laps to go for our race leaders as they work through 1 and 2. Tanner Correa, Gavin Isley, and Michael Hackett as Joe Matthews hangs on behind to hang on to a top 4 spot. White flag is out in heat 2, presented by Tucson Sound Art, and they'll do it one more time.
Through 1 and 2, they all go to the top side, and there is no breathing room between Hackett and Isley in turn 2. Isley going to dive to the bottom. Meitzler's backwards at the stripe. Here they come, side by side. Not going to do it. The momentum carries Correa to the line. Isley, Hackett, and Matthews are going to follow him through and get those transfers as the rest of them come through here to finish off heat race number 2. What a run, what a send. Didn't quite work out for the Catfish.
And a rough finish there for Dean Meitzler. He drops to 8th in that race. Thankfully, it doesn't really matter at that point. Once you're eliminated, you're eliminated. You're kind of just fighting for, well, I shouldn't say eliminated. Once you're not moving on, you're not moving on. You're just racing for your Consi starting spot. So, all things considered, it could have been a whole lot worse. We have a third field on the evening, starting up pole for heat number 3. That is the Thriller Travis Miller with Ryan Beagle outside. Beagle had a great weekend at Bristol, but couldn't quite make up for it. A lot of the drop weeks, I think, were in effect from last week at Bristol. Didn't get the gains he wanted. Dean Reynolds, also really strong at Bristol last week. Starting off strong today, 3rd place in heat 3. Brett Haas will roll off from the 4th spot in this third heat. Connor Ross back in the field once more. Also a strong week at Bristol. Looking to continue that here at Fairbury. Tyler Joshambowski rolls off 6th in heat 3. And the pistol, Jamie Porter, joins our points leader and reigning race winner, defending race winner, if you will, on the back row of the 3rd and final heat of the day. That's not something I would have thought that we would have had here as a storyline going through our prelims of the night. That's different than certainly for Brandon Plank. You can see the field ready to get rolling out of turn number 4 already. It happens quick here at Fairbury. We're off and racing for heat 3. Oh, Dean Reynolds and Joshambowski destroyed on the top side. The field races on. No yellow yet.
Yeah, Travis Miller got a nice start there, kind of blocked Beagle's run on the top side. That's a really tough break for Dean and Joshambowski. We know Dean's been really putting together solid runs for the last couple weeks. Joshambowski, like we said, kind of tough luck last time out. Connor Ross right there, you're watching him, followed Brett Haas. He's got Jamie Porter down to the low side, trying to look for that transfer spot. That is the battle for 4th place and the battle for that final transfer. He's got a little bit of a gap now cleared out for the 45.
Let's go on board with our points leader, Brandon Plank, 2 spots out of a transfer. To not get heat points here is going to be big. If Miller wins this heat and Plank gets 0, that deficit drops to 8. He's got 2 really hungry drivers in front of him to have to go through here. The pistol, Jimmy Porter, a slider there. Now 3 wide out of turn 2. Contact. Plank comes up and just massively hits a 35. They both drop out of, I think, contention here to move on.
Yeah, and that's a really tough break for Brandon Plank. Like we said, 24 drivers showed up, so we shouldn't be sending anybody home, but these points, these 4 points that Travis Miller can put together, that's going to be huge for him in this championship hunt. Certainly not what Brandon Plank wanted right there, as he's now sitting in P5 and watching Jamie Porter take it away from him in that final transfer spot. But meanwhile, up front, Travis Miller going to come out of the corner and get the white flag presented by Tucson Sound Art. He's got 4 more corners. Can he hold Ryan Beagle off?
A look from the back end of Miller's machine. And into the final corner here, Beagle went down low a little bit, but it's not enough. Across the line, Miller wins heat 3. Beagle goes 2nd, Haas 3rd, Porter 4th, Plank goes 5th. The first driver not moving straight on, and that is big. Mostly in the terms of points, Miller gets 4, Plank gets none. That swings it to a 8-point advantage, and look at that. We are straight onto the feature. I like that. I like that. We don't need to run consies. Let's not run consies. We are straight onto the feature race. We've got a field of 24 to start here in just a few. We will take a step aside and get ready for 100 laps of feature racing at the Fairbury Speedway in Fairbury, Illinois. Don't go anywhere. This is Pit Stop TV with coverage of the BRP iRacing series.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Welcome back to the virtual Fairbury Speedway in the virtual Fairbury, Illinois. Glad you're joining us this evening on Pit Stop TV. We have a field of 24 ready to go racing for 100 laps. Joe, let's go ahead and meet them. On pole for 100 laps here at Fairbury, it is none other than Scott Fritz. Fastest qualifier, won his heat race, hard to argue with that. Starting second, it's Tanner Correa, the Wild Child. Starting third, it will be the Thriller, Travis Miller. Andrew Clark rolls off in fourth. Starting fifth, it's Gavin Isley. Sixth is Ryan Beagle. Seventh will be Tyler Pachalski. Starting eighth, that's Michael Hackett. Starting ninth, if we can quickly get these all off, is Brett Haas. Brett Rolls starts 10th.
Starting P11 behind them, you got Joe Matthews with Jamie Porter, who is outside in 12th. Starting off in row number 7 on the inside, you got the number 23, Mike Wenner. Brian Berger to his outside in the 14th starting position. 15th on the grid, you got the 77XS, Brandon Plank, Dan Sider to his outside in the 77. And then you go to 17th, and you got Corby Daniels, a.k.a. The Beef, with Connor Ross, who's outside in 18th. 19th on the grid in row number 10, you start off with Adam Hilton, and then you got Jeff Sharp in 20th.
You could be an auctioneer. Starting 21st, it's Dean Reynolds. 22nd is Matt DeRitter. Starting 23rd, it's another Dean. That's Dean Meitzler. Starting 24th, it's Tyler Josh Shambowski. 25th starting spot at 25, that's Richie Pereira. 100 laps, let's go. One lap complete at Fairbury. Who gets it? It is Scott Fritz, just barely on the top side over Travis Miller. We race on to lap 2. They're still side by side out front. It is still a heated battle between these guys, but it's 3 wide with Isley down low, and it's still Fritz leading the way.
You look at Isley, he's catfishing all the way to the bottom side of the racetrack. Travis Miller making the middle work a little bit as he slides up, and now Slides gets the advantage for the slide job. Scott Fritz goes over, under 3 wide to the line again. Fritz goes dipping to the middle. Miller goes to the high side. Isley still trying to hold on to the bottom. They still race off turn number 2. Fritz to the top and now to the middle. Travis Miller going to try to get some momentum. Is he going to get him to the line this time? No, Fritz gets it.
Lap 5 now underway of 100. Finally a bit more calm up front as your leader Scott Fritz starts to gap the field. Miller going to have a mirror full of Isley here in a moment. Well, that move to the bottom might change things. Going to the bottom side here early, the heats wore out the top.
Yeah, the track's getting a little slick up top. You can see it getting shiny, so that's giving these guys a chance to go a little bit lower for some extra grip. It was working for Isley to be able to hold on, as Korea is the first one leading the top side charge now, as Miller jumps back up to the top. The two BT Sports guys, they go high side, trying to find that grip at the very berm of the racetrack. You see Korea, the only one through 1 and 2, going high, as the three leaders dip down low into the tackier, softer, not slicker stuff. Down low, Fritz is making it work. Isley is holding on, but I don't know about the forward progress part.
Yeah, he's not really moving forward, but I think you don't really need to, watching these two do battle out the windshield, as you've got the 22 ripping the lip up there. That time was the wall for Miller, and he's got to, I think he's just got to commit right now. I like what he's doing, varying it up and testing each lap, but I think you've got to commit right here, and he commits up high in 3 and 4 once again. He's making good headway. I like that he's, getting all of that momentum through 3 and 4, but it's going nowhere in 1 and 2, as here comes Andrew Clark up top. He's using that Warren racetrack to his advantage up top, and he is moving on up into the top 5.
We know Andrew Clark is the kind of guy who can make a slick racetrack work. He's got 3 wins on the season already, and this might not be the best time for it, just because the bottom still got a lot of tackiness in it, but this race is so long, and if everybody starts dipping down to the bottom side, it's going to slick off eventually. See, here's Andrew Clark going to the middle this time, so he goes for some of that tackier grip. Doesn't quite work, as he's right behind Travis Miller, but it's going to be interesting to see the way this track shapes up, because by the end of it, Andrew Clark's always one of those guys to watch when the track starts getting a little bit more slippery for these guys. Oh, he got a good chunk of the wall there.
He did just go purple a lap prior, though, so he's got speed right now, especially compared to the rest of these guys. And we've got another battle inside the top 10. Wenner and Beagle here with some trouble as they get after it together. You got Hackett up top, so the 284 cars finding each other early as Matthews works down low of Hackett. I think Wenner and Beagle starting to blow up and is starting to separate. We've even got Brett Rolls moving back up here. Brett Rolls certainly on a cold streak.
Yeah, last week wasn't too curb. He got the 13th place finish at the end of the show, which was his first time this whole season that he did not finish in the top 5. He's looking to gain time right now. That's not quite how you do it, smashing off the outside wall like that. He's got Joe Matthews and Michael Hackett leading in front of him right here in 9th and 8th, respectively, and he's got plenty of time to get back up to the front. We know him as one of those guys who can charge up there, but for the moment, he's kind of just riding in 10th.
I do love watching these cars. Like, watch Joe Matthews here through 3 and 4, digging as far down as he is. The way the car bounces over the ruts right there, didn't do it so much that lap, but the way these guys bounce around is just so cool to watch. Brandon Plank is up into the top 15, looking for top 10 if he can get it. He is now in 11th, right behind Brett Rolls, and you can see Hackett goes up wide, gets the wall a little bit with the right rear. You're seeing classic Fairbury, I think, break out in this race.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I definitely think that we're kind of still seeing a little bit more tackiness down in the bottom side of the racetrack than we maybe had initially expected. But at the same time, coming into the event, we were more or less, we expected that we were going to get consolations. So the track's a lot younger in this state than we would have probably expected it to be by now. But there's still a lot of grip down low, and that's making these guys run the bottom side and go a little bit of monster truck show from Brandon Plank right there. He goes so low, he gets over some bumps and airborne. This is going to be interesting. Ooh, man, Hackett got in the wall there a ton. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with it, but that's not quite what they want to do with it.
No, not quite. He goes back up to rip on the top side, and it was working for a while, but that last lap, not so much, as Connor Ross is a problem, and that is our first caution of the night. You see the field come on by, trying to miss that stopped car on the top side of turn 4. It's going to be a while before he's able to get back rolling as the field comes on by. Let's take a look at what stops us for the first time this evening. Connor Ross back for a few races after being gone for quite some time. This is not how you want to have a night like this go.
No, not at all. He goes to the bottom side of the racetrack here. He's got Adam Hilton up top, Porter and Haas side by side in front of them. This is going to be the corner.
Wow! That's a proper have you ever.
No, I have never. I was about to say the same thing. I have never seen a car in iRacing do that before. He just gripped up and slid and more or less grip flipped it. That was unfortunate for Connor Ross, but you're going to have to see. I mean, those bumps, they're killer here.
We were just talking about how it's so cool to watch him do that down to the bottom side, and this time, wow. I've seen supercars do this on new tire models when it's too grippy. I've never seen a dirt car do it. Wow.
That was something to watch right there. Glad we got that on film. I don't know. Is if Connor Ross is going to look back at that and say, what I could have done. I don't know.
We are back green out front. We just got one lap there. We're really a half a lap that we missed, as here we go, side by side. It is Isley up top, slings it in there, a bit of a slider line as it's called, and Fritz still working the bottom. It's working, though, for Isley. He has found something. Here we go.
Gavin Isley jumped to the top side of the racetrack, and we call him the catfish because of the things he can do on the bottom side, but as of late, he's always had a good chance at making the top side work, and it's working right now. He is able to get Fritz at the line that time again. Clark gives him a big shove contact, and they're going to pile in. Yellow flag's going to come back out. Brandon Plank got a little bit of a wheelie in there, too.
And you just saw that one coming, unfortunately, the way they were racing up there, the way Isley was getting yawed out in the corner, and Clark was just inching closer and closer. Let's see if we can show it again. So watch this specifically into 3 and 4 in just a moment. Watch the way Isley pivots right there and how close Clark gets. He was able to stab the brake that lap, but not the same way an extra couple of laps later. It'll happen the next time through. Even there, Clark gets so close in the center of the corner. This should be a good look at it from overhead. We'll even slow it down when it happens. Oh boy.
So we got the slow-mo here, and this is where it happens. I don't know. Clark, to go to both guys here, so there's been big contact there, actually, for Matthews and Isley.
Rolls gets a small piece.
Yep, and then Plank right here, he kind of gets squeezed down, and yeehaw.
That's not too bad, all things considered, but it could just maybe bend that left front a little bit out of tow, potentially. It really was just the way Isley was running the corner. He was backing up in center, and Clark didn't account for it. But when you're following a car like that, when you are like the following car, you have to run cleanly. You are responsible for not turning that car ahead, and in that case, Andrew Clark does get sent to the rear for initiating that contact. Green flag on the way, lap 35 now underway at Fairbury, and already contact at the start. Wenner and Fritz got after it.
And I was going to talk about Mike Wenner a little earlier. I really liked the line he was running at the start of this race. It looked really confident and strong, and you can see right now, oh, there goes another one. Travis Miller upside down.
And Rolls now goes up, not Rolls, Plank goes upside down right after it. There's Plank still on his side. Okay, if you're going to have that happen for Travis Miller, dream scenario to drive back on by the guy you're battling in the championship and see him on his side. What is this race? As we've got 2 flips, well, now in the first, 35 laps, but 2 of them on this caution that are so important to this race, and to this season. Travis Miller goes over first. There was contact with Brett Rolls, it looks like, of all people. Rolls in deep and just rolled the center on exit. That 22 slowed down. Look at the way it did a stoppie on the nose. And in all of that, you saw the contact live happen with Brandon Plank. He goes over, gets stuck on his side. What a caution.
I was initially wondering if we were getting more grip flips. The grip that caught Travis Miller and sent him up the racetrack pivoting on that front wheel. That's rather interesting to watch, but wow, you're 2 championship leaders involved in this incident, and it's still pretty early on in this race, but at the same time, it's going to be interesting to see the way how that affects the rest of this going, as they're going to come through 3 and 4 this time and get the green flag again. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of green flag racing in as they're back underway.
Already a lot of contact to 1. They figure it out. They keep racing, but look at this gaggle as they head now down the backstretch. All kinds of fanned out around this quarter-mile speedway.
They are fanned out pretty nicely. They're still side by side, but they do get a little bit of space in between each other. Past the line again. Fritz leads the way. Wenner in second. Correa holding on to third just barely over his teammate at Beef Esports. That is Jamie Porter going to the bottom side of the racetrack. Brett Haas in the picture. Adam Hilton in there as well. So the new names kind of refreshing things up at the top side of the scoring pylon, as there's another car backwards in the middle of 1 and 2, I think.
That is Michael Hackett. Brett Rolls is going to join him, and a caution flag does fly for it. Rolls gets away easily, but Hackett had a little bit more trouble getting that car turned around. Now gets back after it, and we will go back and find out once more what happens here to bring a yellow. I wish we had just about 1 more lap of yellow flag to get these guys situated, because we could use it, as we have this issue for Michael Hackett. 1 car ahead of him, slow into 1. That was Pachalski. Pachalski kept rolling, but yeah, Hackett got turned around, and look at Brett Rolls come in late.
And you know what? Hackett, if you saw in that replay, Hackett went into that corner kind of committed, but he did see Pachalski, and he did try to avoid the contact. You see the car kind of dip down, and he was trying and just a little too short of being able to avoid that contact and collision and cause this yellow.
Guess who has the lead? It is not Scott Fritz. Mike Wenner has been sorted to our race leader as we get ready to go racing once more. And nearly halfway, the field gets sorted behind him, and we've got 55 laps to go at Fairbury. Oh, nope, we're not restarting yet. That's a bit late. I'm glad we didn't have any issue after that, though.
Yeah, I think that's going to be for the getting everybody in order here. You saw Brett Haas kind of trying to switch lanes and put himself in the right place for the start again, so the pace truck pulls off this time, and we will hopefully at least be able to do it for real this time and come back to green flag racing, as Mike Wenner's going to lead us there for the first time, I think, ever in the series, or maybe at least in a while.
Wild Child running the top side, rolling the top side as well, as Fritz stays right behind Mike Wenner here to complete the first lap after the restart. Wenner still leading, Fritz second, another caution flag flies. This time it looks like it's for Dan Sider, and yes, he is the car stopped on the bottom side of the racetrack, gets back rolling, and I think that car just might be okay, but was stopped to bring out a yellow.
Yeah, we'll get a replay back on the 77 machine, and I would agree with that, Andrew. It did look at first like the car might have had some damage, but I think it's okay. He's right behind DeRitter, and they're running the maximum bottom of the racetrack. There's Haas getting a little... Oh, it's all on his own. He just got into that corner way too deep with the rear end. Clark got a bit of it, not much contact, but Sider comes to a stop in the middle of the corner, pulls out that yellow flag so he can kind of reset himself here.
So that caution done and dusted brings us right to halfway. The field gets gathered back around, and we will have one to green, I do believe, this time by. A big shout out to our partners here at Pit Stop TV as well. Tucson Sound Art, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, Whiplash Media, BAM Racing Videos, the whole lot of them. They join all of the BRP partners in doing a lot for us here at Pit Stop TV and making sure we can bring you this coverage each and every Monday night. In this case, throughout the course of the fall of 2021 and the winter of 2022. Porter's way up there. Fritz is on Wenner's door, and a restart is live.
And we're going to see if we can get a little bit of a green flag run here to kind of talk about Mike Wenner's line. You just look at this line and you know this guy has put practice in. He's a little confident with it. It didn't perfectly get it that time, but you see him kind of dip that car in and pitch it early. And then he's able to get a nice angle the whole way through the corner like that, up and down to the bottom.
That's
in the corner
a little bit.
Yeah, and now he's got Fritz breathing down on the inside, and he's going to be able to re-close that door a little bit. Fritz isn't even going through the corner sideways yet. He's still trying to get that grip way at the bottom side of the racetrack.
Caution's out. Andrew Clark this time involved. And the number 98 is just now getting back rolling in 1 and 2. And this is what's going to happen on a quarter mile. Cautions are going to breed cautions.
Yeah, we got a good ways into this race. And there was a bet. Corby Daniels and Dean Reynolds, they had agreed to buy an alcoholic beverage for every driver in this series if we could go all the way without a yellow. It was a pretty safe bet, to be fair, but Andrew Clark going to bring another yellow flag out here. He's right behind Richard Pereira. He's got Connor Ross, Brett Rolls and Miller make contact, and then Rolls gives him the shove in the middle of the corner, and he's facing the wrong direction. That's the yellow flag. Not a big crash, and that's kind of the way things are going to go to short track. Not a big crashes, but a good amount of contact's going to be going on.
So we highlighted 4 drivers at the top of the show that are in good positions in the point standings. They are all 16th or worse. As we eclipse halfway and move on past it, Travis Miller is 16th, Brett Rolls 17th, Andrew Clark is 24th, and Brandon Plank is 25th. So this has been exactly what the rest of the field needed to catch up, and exactly what none of these guys needed. Let's follow along with Travis Miller and Brett Rolls in the deep field for this restart.
Dean Reynolds on the inside absolutely went 4 wheels off the ground there. You're watching Travis Miller. He's got actually a lot of breathing room. Meitzler almost got into Connor Ross right in front of him, too. I bet that gave him a little bit of a scare. Come past the line again. I'm kind of surprised well, you know what? He's doing it on purpose, probably. Trying to be safe here and give himself room. Matt DeRitter didn't give Connor a lot of room that time.
Very close stuff back here. This is properly in the thick of it as we stay on board with Travis Miller. This is I could watch this onboard all day, honestly.
They're almost 5 wide ahead of him. Yeah,
this is the best vantage point for it.
this is a very exciting view. I don't know how excited Travis Miller would be about it necessarily.
But he's working up top. He's gone from 16th to 13th already, and now he's 12th as he gets by Hackett. I mean, he's rolling this top side nicely, and I mean, he needs to for points, obviously. We could see the points swing his way after tonight. And again, I seem to recall a yellow 22 being oh so good here in the late model.
Travis Miller, oh, Porter, save it, baby! They saved it. They saved it. I'll give them that. Yeah, we stay green.
Berger and Ross stack up right in front of Travis Miller here. If you're wondering about Brett Rolls, he's down in 19th. Andrew Clark is in 21st, battling with Brett Haas, and Brandon Plank stays down there in 25th. He is 2 laps down to the rest of the field.
This might be drop week. I think that's...
For most everybody, as there's contact with Ross stacking up on the wall. That forces Miller low. He's going to thrill here as he throws it to the inside of Michael Hackett. And it's so difficult as a driver to switch your brain from running the wall to right down here on the tires, right on the inside.
Travis Miller doing a pretty good job of it. There's that big bump in the bottom side of turn 4. He's got Hackett right in front of him there. You saw it, and here we'll see it now from afar as we relieve that camera from its viewing pleasure here on the stream. And Travis Miller goes back to the high side. He's got an opportunity again. It seems like that's where he wants to be, but he's going to take any opportunity he can to try to change things up and move up in this order.
The front of this field has changed quite a lot. Wenner leads. Isley with a bobble there. He got real upset on the bottom side of the racetrack, gets it back under control. But look at second place. The wild child Tanner Correa is doing something big here. He's rolling up top and is bringing Ryan Beagle along with, and even Adam Hilton now into the top 5.
Time changes the racetrack so much. Man.
I think it's for Pereira, and I think that guess is correct, as he's going to get slowed down here.
We'll have to see what comes back. But this racetrack changes so much, Andrew, over the course of the runs and everything. It was only time before that topside start coming back in.
Rolls is kind of involved in this. He's in the vicinity. He's down low. Ross gets stacked up, hits the wall, gets a piece of Rolls. Pereira spins as a result, and look at that. Plank stops on the nose of Pereira, just saves that car from heavy contact, and maybe saves his race as well, as he should get at least 1, if not 2 of his laps back here to get back into this race. Brandon Plank, actually, is he going to get his second lap? It's going to be a tall order. He rolls on by now and is still 1 lap down, so he needs at least 1 more yellow. That 1 more yellow would put him on the lead lap, is so long as he's not involved in it, and then, another yellow to stack this field up and get after it.
Yeah, and there's time left for him to get those yellows and get those wave arounds and get those positions and everything, but we're getting close. So we'll have to see what happens for Brandon. Having the opportunity to do a drop week's really nice for everybody as the green flag comes back out. He might be able to use it this week, and they're racing, but Brett Haas is off the inside of the racetrack, and he resets.
These guys back at it up front. Wenner leading. And, look at this battle off the top side. Correa in the middle now as Beagle takes the top of the racetrack and works into second. Hilton down low. Isley now back up top. And I think a caution is back out. Yes, it is. Brett Haas with problems. Maybe? Was it him or somebody else? Jeff Sharp sorts out to the back.
We saw Brett while we were on board. He was on the way bottom of the racetrack, but he did reset. He disappeared off the screen, so I don't know if it's Brett this time.
I don't think it is. Kirby Daniels is slow on the bottom side of the racetrack. Have not said his name very often tonight. Missed last week at Bristol. Glad he's back. This is Jeff Sharp, though. You see him follow Clark in. Clark gets stacked up with Reynolds, and yeah, that just turns Sharp right around. Oh my, Brandon Plank barely missed that. And we're getting word from our social media guy, who is able to watch a lot more of this than we are, that there may have been a run-in between Wenner and Plank. I don't know the circumstances of it yet, but a run-in between Plank and Wenner under the last yellow flag. And hopefully, there is some left side damage from Wenner that I don't think I saw before.
That's interesting. I don't know.
And that could have just been they stacked up, and maybe his Plank was trying to get his lap back. I don't know. There's so many different ways that could have gone. I do want to mention Plank is now back on the lead lap as we get back racing. Lap 78 underway.
The number 77 is relieved here on lap 78 as he's going to get a chance to kind of carve his way back through this field. Wenner and Beagle, they lead the top and bottom. Oh, somebody's all over the place and upside down, going flipping down the backstretch. Yellow flag back out.
and that is Connor Ross, the number 35. He pulls it into the pit lane. Is actually crossing the racetrack and, grabs a fast fix. Look at that. So if you've never seen it before in iRacing, that is the process. On dirt, as a driver, you just got to bring the car to the pit lane wherever iRacing says that is. Basically a hot pit, if you think about it that way, where some racetracks have a hot pit inside the racetrack, even though the pits are outside. You got to bring the car to the hot pit, get the fast fix, get back out there. And some tracks it's more difficult said than done, or done than said, rather. And as you can see, Ross goes over by his own volition. He made contact like that earlier when we were on board with Miller there.
Yeah, Connor Ross is kind of, this has been an up and down event for Connor, and he's definitely gotten involved in a couple incidents here. So you saw another one here on the screen, but fortunately for him, he's able to go get that reset as the green flag is going to come back out. These guys are going to be under 20 laps to go, and now it's going to be crunch time to see who can get on with the 23 and 84 up front.
Let's go on board inside the top 10 here with Tyler Joshambowski. He's down low, Pachalski goes up high. There's Fritz, who's sorted out to the back end of the top 10, just about 8th place, 7th place, depends on when you count it. Lap 82 in the books, 83 underway. Isley is a monster trucking, pulling that left front up in the air every single time on the bottom side. That time it doesn't work out quite as nicely. You can see the damage as well to that car as he works on the inside for second. Beagle now takes the lead. Could he win tonight?
Ryan Beagle up front. There's only one driver in the top 10 right now that has won a race this season, and that is Jamie Porter. Everybody else is looking for their first win of the season. Ryan Beagle leads away. Hilton to the top side. He's in second place right behind him. Isley on the bottom. Wenner, Porter, Berger, as they're racing a lot in between 5th and 10th for position right now.
Watching the field come by. A little more spread out than previous restarts, so I'll take it here as the top 4 or 5 are really spread out here. Really, the only top 3 that are on top of each other is you've got the top 2 battling. Hilton now looks low of Beagle, kind of slides into the corner and gives up a lot of time. You have got to hold your guns right now. I think with the way this track is, you've got to hold your guns and hope the car in front makes a mistake.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think Adam Hilton's going to have much of an opportunity aside from that, or maybe a big-time send towards the end of this race. He's riding the same line as Ryan Beagle. That's always a good way to catch up, but not a great way to make a pass, and especially here at Fairbury with the way this track has aged now, as there's a big battle going on right now. Berger's actually doing really well. Brian Berger right now looking to try to get himself into the top 5 and maybe get his first top 5 finish of the season. These guys all racing now. You see the guys like Rolls and Clark and Miller that we talk about as the championship leaders. They're starting to carve their way back up.
And they're all pretty close to each other. I mean, look at this. Rolls, Miller, and Clark are 3 wide with a 4th on the inside. That's Matthews, 3, 1, and 2. Rolls shoots the middle, puts Miller in the fence, gets it gathered back on it. And, yellow flag is out, but Plank was not too far back. Now he is, as he takes a spin here for another yellow flag.
This is just not Brandon Plank's race at all. He won last week at Bristol. That was his first win since Weed Sport. So he won week 5 and then he won week 12. And usually Brandon is good for another solid performance. Ooh, this is not his fault though.
No, it's not. Meitzel came up and just shouldered him pretty hard right there as the rest of the field comes on by. Got back rolling nicely. It seems like that car is relatively, if not mostly, okay. But that is going to set him back quite a bit. As we come back from replay here, this will be a good view as to where our front runners in the championship are. Rolls, Miller, Clark, they're all still trying to catch up to the field and get back racing here. This is not green flag yet. This is lap 93 of 100 under yellow flag conditions. You can see them trying to double up. If we restart here, this is way too rushed. Yeah, no restart yet. Okay, we've got 1 to go on the racetrack. This is a more formed up field, I think. This is acceptable for a restart with just 6 laps to go. I think we initially went green and immediately went back out. I don't know. Regardless, lap 94 going to give way to lap 95. Green flag back out at Fairbury.
Oh, man, they're all over the place at the
Hilton
line.
to send.
Oh, Beagle got him.
Into 3 and 4, 5 laps to go this time. Who's it going to be? Beagle leads out of the corner. Isley and Hilton hounding him.
Through 1 and 2 again, Ryan Beagle leads the way. Adam Hilton right behind him. Wenner trying to charge the bottom side. He's trying to catch up to Gavin Isley.
Beagle got in there really bad. Hilton with the send on the top side, and it works. Adam Hilton's your race leader with 4 to go.
Hilton with the slide job. Can we get an overrun from the 84? Not going to happen this time for Ryan Beagle. Isley trying to gather things back up. He got the door slammed on him by Hilton that time he made that pass. Coming to the line again, 3 laps to go. Hilton leads the top side. Isley still charging on the bottom with Beagle right behind.
This is close. Isley down low, side by side with these guys. You can see Beagle up top. 2 laps to go here at Fairbury.
Brian Berger starting to make a little bit of time up right now. He's in 4th place with Pachalski and Fritz racing for 5th. Oh, sideways out of the corner right there for Hilton. That's going to give Isley a chance. Will he make the slider? White flag presented by Tucson Sound Art. This time they're dead even at the line.
Hilton led by just a bit. Isley second. Isley noses ahead. Look at that lead. That just might do it through the final corners here at Fairbury. Can Isley do it off the bottom? Maybe it's going to be a drag race. Who gets it? I think it's Adam Hilton. Yes, Adam Hilton is going to victory lane in the BRP iRacing series.
And I think that is the first time Brian Berger has been in the top 5. Adam Hilton's first win. Isley was second.
In the top 5.
Yeah, Pachalski pulled it together at the very end there too, beating Mike Wenner.
And look at 9th place. Brandon Plank in the top 10 outscores Travis Miller in a feature race again. Something happened in the closing laps that puts Plank in 9th and Miller in 21st. This could be the turning point. This could be what seals it, potentially, for Brandon Plank. Let's go back and get some replays here. This is going to be there's a lot to sort through in these final few laps here at Fairbury that is going to mean so much in just a couple more weeks at Charlotte.
There is Travis Miller. He's following Brett Rolls right now. There's Joe Matthews behind him, DeRitter to the bottom side. You can see Plank. You can see Plank lurking. And here's Miller to the top. And we're waiting for a checkup or something to go on. He's got a bit of space, actually. And there it is. In the wall pretty hard himself. That time in 3 and 4. Is this where it happens? There's where Plank makes the pass.
Oh!
Or at least
Wow! Look at that crash. That had to have been on the white flag. Everybody comes on through. Reynolds. Oh, my goodness. You have got to be kidding me. And Fritz actually saves Miller. He would have lost even more there if he hadn't gotten turned over. That was all on the white flag. What in the heck just happened?
I'm pretty speechless on that one. That was jaw-dropping to watch. Everybody involved.
Everybody crashed, I think, outside of maybe 7th place. So let's find Michael Hackett. Where does he finish? 24th. I still don't think he's crossed the line, actually, because the time is still counting up on his interval to the next car ahead. I don't think he ever finished this race. Let's, I guess, watch this. The silver and black 84, middle of the racetrack between Wenner and Pachalski. This is well up front. This is inside the top 10. Pachalski went on to finish 5th. That turns Wenner sideways, who dropped well out of the... Oh, my. Jamie Porter inadvertently might have just costed Travis Miller, his teammate, a championship.
Jamie Porter kind of sent that in pretty... he was committed. He was committed to that line. And Hackett came up a little bit off the bottom, and Porter didn't... I mean, I don't know what else he could have done, but he didn't do anything to move out of the way. He didn't have anything he could have done at that point. I mean, he's coming on so fast with Hackett sliding up, but...
And it's the last lap. It's hard to argue that he should have lifted, but regardless, you have to be honest, inadvertently, that may have just cost his teammate a championship.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a part of the equation right here. And nothing to Jamie Porter. That last lap, and he's already on the top side, and he's ripping it. He's not in the wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. Hackett just comes up. He does exactly what happens right there on the screen. He's going to do it again in turn 1, right here. And what do? You can't do anything about it. And everybody comes piling in. I think all of the Beef Esports guys are most of them involved in the crash. And here's where Miller gets a nice little shove. 2 Beef cars upside down in 3 and 4, and then a little bit of help.
And so really, what it comes down to, we could count cars if we want to, but what it comes down to is the extra contact with Porter and Porter and Clark that turns Clark over. Because Miller could have gotten through that and could have salvaged something here if not for it. So we'll just ride on board with Travis Miller and wait for it. As you can see, he's racing with Brett Rolls behind Andrew Clark. So this still would not have been dream scenario. He wouldn't have taken the lead or anything with this, but he would have at least edged away a few points, which would have been so important, especially going into tracks like Eldora and Charlotte. And now, I mean, he's going to be maybe even with Brett Rolls, and that's a big maybe.
This is just showing how quickly things can go wrong. Wow. That was a lot. That's a lot to take in. And
so
I'm sure
after that contact, I'm sorry to kind of cut in. Let's count cars if we can. There's one on the bottom side, one more directly. If you look directly straight ahead of Miller, that's 2 on the top side. I see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think at this point Miller's 15th. And if you count back to Plank, I think he is just a little further back. You see Plank there. Where does this all sort out? This is difficult to kind of... So if Miller's 15th, Plank is 17th. That's only 2 points. But when you're only 8 back because of the heat points, that's a 6-point difference going into the final 2 races. That would have been necessary for Travis Miller to keep. Let's watch on from here. In slow-mo.
Yes, we do get the lovely slow-mo, at least. We get to enjoy the slow motion here, but these guys aren't enjoying it. There's where Hackett's around and backwards. DeRitter comes into this shot. Now, Miller is able to mostly avoid these guys. He gets to the high side.
He stops here with Fritz, and then look at Clark. Watch that 98 on the bottom of Clark.
He had Fritz. The good thing about that was he hit him with the front bumper, and he was able to keep it straight, but... Wow, Clark.
It was that contact with Clark and Porter, the way Clark just straight lined into Porter. That's what does
Clark,
this.
He got in there so fast. I mean, I don't know. He just came in so quick and hit the 45. He must have been trying.
I mean, he straight lined it. It's the last corner after 100 laps, and you've already got a crash going on. I get it, but I mean, there's an effect to everybody's actions. You know, like for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, right? And if you go in there, you're going to cost somebody's season potentially, and that's exactly what happens. Let's watch all of this. Clark comes in, what, 34 back?
Something like that. He didn't have a great week last time out. Yeah, okay, here. Yeah, there's that contact. His teammate rolls right there.
He just sends it in really, really deep.
Yeah. And he's able to salvage an okay run out of it for himself, at least, but he caught up so many other people, and he gave a little bit of love or got a little bit of love from Dan Sider going sideways, too, though. That was pretty solid.
Well, with all of that kind of sorted out, guess what? It's time to go ahead and talk to some drivers. Finishing first this evening, first time, I think, ever, is Adam Hilton. And Joe, he's all yours.
Oh, we're going to get to talk to him. Okay, Adam Hilton, this is Joe Donahue from Pit Stop TV. You got me?
I gotcha.
Adam, my man, you did it. You broke through. You made the pass. Tell us how you set that up.
Got pretty lucky. Beagle had the top pretty well covered, and right before I made the pass, he kind of got on the wall. I'm like, well, I better go in a little bit lower, and then he hit the wall pretty good, and so I just turned it down, grabbed some bite, and just took off from there, and just kind of threw a slider going into one there. And I knew I had to be on top. Last year kind of proved that, and so I knew in order to win tonight, I had to be on top, and Gavin gave me a run for my money on the bottom there, so good run by those guys.
Yeah, you definitely picked your line and made your decision about what your opportunity was going to be to win. Talk us through, how do you keep yourself in a position to be able to do that? What's the strategy for this race, and how are you making 100 laps to be able to put yourself in position to get this opportunity?
Well, the first thing is attrition. You got to make it through some wrecks. Obviously, that first green flag run, I think we only made up like 2 or 3 spots, and I just trying to be on the top. You don't want to get into the wall too much for incident points, but at the same time, you got to try and be fast, and you got to go where they're not. And if somebody's on the top and they're slowing you down, you got to try the bottom. And things kind of worked out tonight. Not gonna lie, had Beagle not gotten in the wall, we would have been second or third. So.
And now this is a great moment for you. You had a really solid starting time frame for this series. A little bit of poor luck took away some opportunities for what should have probably been race wins for you, but now you've finally broken through with this win. You've got Eldora and Charlotte next time. Is this the turning point for you to start really ticking off W's? Are you going to be able? What do you think you're going to be able to do with this momentum when you go to a track like Eldora and then follow it up with the championship at Charlotte?
Well, as long as the track gets slick enough for my liking, I think we'll do all right. I definitely been struggling this year in qualifying. If I had some better qualifying runs, I think we'd be finishing up front more often. But just been trying to work on that and try and get the real race car ready for the race season this year.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be sitting with you. You're getting ready to go again for another season of real world racing. But this season finally turns around for you, Adam. Congratulations from us on your first win here this season. We'll be looking forward to see what you're able to accomplish with Eldora and Charlotte these next few weeks.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys putting it on, and Corby Daniels there for putting the league together and all the guys that run it.
For sure, and there is your first place finisher for the night, Adam Hilton, able to take advantage of a great situation and take advantage of getting his first win. Big deal for him, and Andrew Cardinale going to talk to one of the guys he was able to put behind him, and we'll hand off the runner-up to you, Mr. Cardinale.
Yeah, but it was not easy for him to beat Gavin Isley or Ryan Beagle. Both put on great fights there at the end, but Gavin, it just wasn't quite enough down there on the bottom side. We've called you a catfish for weeks now. You always like the bottom, or so it seems, but lately the top has worked, especially with the banking here. What was it like making the switch multiple times tonight?
It worked out okay for our favor anyway. I mean, didn't end up first, but it's still a pretty good run for us anyway.
And ultimately, how thankful are you that you were up front and not in that mess in the back on the last lap?
Oh, very, very grateful. That's why I ran the bottom, because everybody was on top. Everybody was holding each other up, so I figured just run the bottom, get through it. Like Adam said, a lot of attrition to make it through the wrecks, then see where you are at the end.
And so how much of your catfishiness, if you will, is just trying to keep your car clean, keep yourself in this race, and how much of it is just going for the preferred line at tracks where it is the bottom?
More or less comfort. If I'm not comfortable on the outside or the bottom, usually just try to find a spot where I am comfortable. Tend to be a little bit faster that way.
And a couple of more races to go. You were really, really close tonight to getting that first win on the season. What do you do in Eldora? What do you do at Charlotte? Both are tracks where I think the top is usually thought of as the better line, but you can work that bottom pretty nicely. What do you do there?
Just try to make it through. Not the best at Eldora, but we'll try our best to make out a good finish.
That's Gavin Isley. And how about the new paint schemes as well? Where did these all come from? We saw an all-black car last week, now white with all-black decals. A lot of variation after the same paint for a long time.
I got a buddy, James, that started making paints now, so I just have him make me one every couple weeks. And the other one last week was a little bit too dark, so we'll go with the opposite.
There you go. I've liked the theme lately. I keep switching it up. We'll see how it goes these next couple of weeks. Best of luck to you at Eldora and Charlotte.
Thank you.
And that, Joe, is Gavin Isley finishing second place. You can see he got a few laps led up there, just working the bottom. And I really thought, about had the race win. Dead heat almost with Adam Hilton, just 0.054 seconds. That is just over 5/100ths for the win. And just behind them, that was the 84 who led a lot of this race, Ryan Beagle.
Yeah, so we're going to get to bring Ryan Beagle to the booth here. Ryan, this is your third podium of the season. Maybe looking for a little bit more out of it, but at the end of the day, can't be disappointed with the third place finish.
Yeah, I feel like we gave one away there, but that's racing. I usually don't run very good at this place, so just being in contention is a win for me, so we'll take it.
It seems like the name of the game is patience and wreck avoidance, but you were able to tick off a lot of really consistent laps. Was there some practice that went into preparing yourself to be able to tackle this race, or did you just kind of find some luck as you went along the way?
It was a lot of luck, just being in the right line at the right time, and just running slick places like this every week helps get you in a rhythm. And I didn't need that caution there with about 5 to go. I had a good rhythm going, and then I smacked the wall coming down the back stretch, and it was all over at that point.
Well, you definitely were able to keep things together even with that late yellow, and it may have broken your rhythm a little bit, but you're able to still hold on, and you look forward, Eldora and Charlotte, and then obviously, we go back to real world racing here in not too long, but what kind of momentum do you think this race is going to carry for you, and what's your outlook as you get to these last two more normal than Fairbury, at least, races for the ending of this championship?
Yeah, hopefully we can stay out of trouble like we did tonight and hopefully get a win here. It's been, well, like you said, we got 3 podiums this season. I'd sure like to end this year out with a win, but we'll see.
Well, we definitely think you're going to have a good shot at it, and obviously, you've been able to carry momentum before, so we're looking forward to seeing how you can do with that, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you again before the season ends.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, Ryan, and there you go, the final of your podium finishers, Andrew, and pretty nice and diverse and exciting to see these newer names that we haven't really seen at the top 3 or been able to talk to this season, but we've gotten them in and been able to talk to them here tonight. So that's pretty solid and really cool for Fairbury tonight.
It is always refreshing, at the very least. No matter what the incidents are and how they happen and all of that, it is refreshing to have a different top 3. It is refreshing to have a different winner. And Adam Hilton, I mean, we've had a few different first-time winners this season. I think Adam Hilton is one of them. I don't recall a time that he's won a race. Maybe back in the sprint cars when we first had these guys. But it's been a long time if he has won a race before. Of course, Matt DeRitter got his first win this season. We had Jimmy Porter getting only his second win ever. Obviously, Brandon Plank and Andrew Clark being brand new to the series, they got their first win. Zacharias as well earlier on in the season. So a lot of first-time winners this season. I think at least 5, and 3 of them by technicality, 2 of them by being here seasons prior and just finally breaking on through. We just saw the schedule graphic. Let's look again at the points as they came in, Joe, and then we'll get to results, because this is so important. Brandon Plank came in with 12 points, all right? After the heat races, particularly after the race that Brandon Plank and Travis Miller had together, that deficit was down to 8. I'm not sure where Rolls fits into this just yet. Obviously, the drop week is going to play into this as well, and it may play in for Brandon Plank and Travis Miller quite equally, and this deficit may not change much. But to no longer have that in 2 of the fastest tracks on the series coming up next, I say it's nice because it might stretch this field out, right, for these couple of, a half mile and a 4/10 mile, a 2/5. But if you do crash at Eldora or Charlotte, it's usually big.
Yes. Yes. So that's going to be exciting to see how that shapes things up. But even still, I mean, we've been talking about the top end of the leaderboard for these hunts. Look at Brett Haas, Matt DeRitter, Ryan Beagle. They're all 3 points apart each. And actually, Korea and Haas are 1 point apart coming into this race, 9th and 10th. Pachalski and Hilton down in 18th and 19th.
And look at Adam. He comes in 1 point back at Tyler, 2 points ahead of Garrett Zacharias, who wasn't here, only a few back of Pereira. Those are the 4 that switched around the most when the drop week is added back in for this week. So those 4 being so close together and Hilton getting that win, that's going to blow up big time further down to the top 20. Good eye.
Yeah, this definitely is going to shape up for a couple really good opportunities for big championship runs. Maybe not for the top end of the grid, but definitely throughout the rest of the way, the top 20. I think this is going to get really close for some of these guys.
A lot's going to change, certainly, between this week and next. And, it's going to be a completely different picture when we unload in just under a week at Eldora for race 13 of 14. Let's look at the results then, and this gives us a clearer picture of how things might change. Adam Hilton with a race win, finally. Only led 5 laps by all of those switch-ups there at the end, and just getting out in front of Ryan Beagle and hanging on. Gavin Isley, second place. Ryan Beagle there in third. Brian Berger, a top 5, as we mentioned earlier on. Tyler Pachalski as well, and Mike Winter hangs on for 6th. That's not a bad night, all things considered, even though he was up front and leading for a long time. Tyler Josh Bowski, a top 10. Brett Rolls gets another top 10. So if you drop out Bristol, he's still got the top 10 streak running, but not quite the top 5 streak, as you see Brandon Plank there in 9th. Joe Matthews rounds out your top 10. The fact that Brandon Plank came through all of that, we might have to go back and get one more replay and just watch him. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, that was very surprising, but he got a lot handed to him with that accident. It kind of bunched everybody back up. It allows guys to shake things up a little bit. Dean Meitzler going to come home in P11. That's a pretty darn good performance for him. Might be his best of the season, actually. Andrew Clark comes home P12. Then you got Connor Ross in 13th. All things considered, I'd say that's a pretty good night for Connor Ross. Matt DeRitter comes home in 14th, and Tanner Correa in 15th, 2 beefy sports drivers. And you got Richard Pereira in the 96. He comes home 16th. Jamie Porter is 17th at the end. Jeff Sharp goes 18th. Scott Fritz 19th after such a strong showing. That's definitely a disappointing run for Scott. Corby Daniels, a.k.a. The Beef, he's going to round out the top 20.
Rolling back to 21st, that's where we find the thriller Travis Miller. After all of that crashing in the backstretch, that's maybe a season gone for the number 22. Dean Reynolds there in 22nd, Dan Sider in 23rd, Michael Hackett 24th, and Brett Haas with his early exit finishes 25th. And, I mean, let me be clear, it's not a season done yet for Travis Miller. Even if he does drop out of championship contention as the opportunities narrow down, he and Brett Rolls and Andrew Clark are still going to fight for second, and second, third, fourth, anywhere in the top 5 of this season, I think is still a pretty good season, all things considered.
Yeah, for sure. And, you think about way back at the start of this season with Garrett Zacharias going 2 for 3 at the beginning, Brandon Plank, and then, you started having things shake up a little bit. Jamie Porter, Andrew Clark, Travis Miller, they started winning races. And you think about where you started with kind of being the Brandon and Garrett show, and then things shake up and the championships start getting closer, and we've seen changes at the top. It's kind of gone around the ways. It's gotten full circle, sort of, with Plank and Miller having the chance to really lead the championship hunt as we move into these last 2 races. But at the same time, it's been exciting, and it's definitely been kind of all over the place, up and down, around the corner and back again. And it's been, it's coming down to the wire for a lot of these guys too. So that's definitely something to talk about with the BRP series. A lot of great names in this series, and they race each other hard. That is one thing that shows.
Yeah, that is definitely correct. Absolutely correct through and through. The excitement is going to continue this week here on Pit Stop TV. Literally, the excitement theme is going to continue on as we've got British sim racers going to Knock Hill. So that's up in Scotland. That is very much home territory for these guys to go up to Knock Hill Racing Circuit and get after it on such a short race course, just over a mile. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't even know how to explain it. It's going to be very close. It's going to be hectic. It's going to be fun for these guys in the BSR MX-5s and touring cars this week. So Tuesday, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK, it is MX-5 racing, Miata racing for the BSR folks. And then on Thursday, at the same time, it's touring cars at the same place. Once again, at Knock Hill. Tomorrow evening, though, Joe, things changing up a little bit. We go restrictor plate racing one more time, because technically those Gen 6s for the Nork 2500, they don't have restrictor plates. Tomorrow night, it's the Nork National 300 at the Daytona International Speedway. Norktona Speed Weeks rumbles on. This time, we're even going to have a special entry in the field, and I haven't said it yet, but I will go ahead and say it now. I'm excited to be rejoining the Nork field. I have not raced with Nork since season 12, which, I mean, I guess when you only have 13 seasons, doesn't seem like it's that far away, but it's been some time. Broadcasting all of season 13 and everything else that's gone with it has been a lot of fun, but I miss racing with the Nork guys, and being able to race tomorrow night is going to be a lot of fun at Daytona. Then we've got Wednesday with the Ferrari Challenge, Ferrari GT3 Challenge here on iRacing. That is an official series that each and every one of you watching, if you have an iRacing subscription and have an iRacing D-Class license on road, you can enter, actually. You do have to own, I guess, the track of the car, but otherwise, you can race with the Ferraris at Imola on Wednesday and go for top split and see if you make the Pit Stop TV broadcast of that event. So a lot going on this week, a lot more fun is going to continue.
Yeah, and you're going to want to keep up with it on all the social media. We're definitely going to be posting about, obviously, our great races, but also going to keep up and see how well Andrew can do back on the block and ready to rock with the Nork Series. You can go over to facebook.com, search up Pit Stop TV, or use the link down on the bottom of the screen to keep up with updates throughout the race and throughout the week itself, to stay in touch with all the points battles and racing action going on with all of our great partners here with Pit Stop TV. You can go to Twitter at pitstoptv_ is the handle, and you get a lot of nice stuff over there as well. Instagram at pit_stop_TV. Great shots. Emerson Arden, one of the best in the business, and you can tell when Emerson's on social media. We have a great team of people putting pictures and videos together on Instagram. Go check that out. Those also go up on Facebook. And you come over to YouTube. That's sort of our main place to put the stream together, and you can search that up, just Pit Stop TV, or go through the link youtube.com/c/pitstoptv1. Click the little bell and get the notifications for when we go live. Be on that notification gang for Pit Stop TV. Make sure you're right on time every time we go live.
And Joe, a bit of breaking news on the back end of this broadcast. You just let me know about it privately, and it is now there for all BRP iRacing Series drivers to see. And actually, we'll hang on to it, because let's actually take an onboard first with Brandon Plank and then get to that news. This is how Brandon Plank makes it through. He's on the bottom already. Remember, he came in just 2 spots back of Travis Miller. Literally, it was a matter of line selection for Brandon Plank to continue on. You can see he gets turned a little bit, but hangs on to it. Brett Rolls there on the top side. He goes on, and he actually finishes right behind Brett Rolls. This is how it all goes down. And you see that black and green 98 car on the top side. There's some news regarding Andrew Clark. Joe, go ahead and mention it.
So, after the race, a little bit of review goes on, and from what is said, Andrew Clark is going to be suspended for 1 week from this series. So from Eldora next week, he's going to be suspended from participating as a result of what is deemed an intent wreck here on the backside of this final lap crash. The ruling is that as far, and now I can't say I know for sure because I haven't gotten to listen back, but the officials reviewed the replay and they watched this part right here. The slow-mo is on screen right here. So Clark, obviously, the Korea goes around, and what happens is Clark full throttles this car into the corner right here and slides right into the 45. No alleviation of the throttle pedal, no nothing. Full throttle into the 45 has been dubbed an intent wreck, and as a result, per rules of the series, that is a race suspension. I'm sure they're going to take time to review that to make sure that that is not the wrong call, and make sure that.
And I wonder if that's open for an appeal.
Yes, and I'm sure that Andrew Clark's going to want to argue his case, as long as he's not willing to admit it, that if that was an intent wreck indeed. But that's going to be,
and that's not our wording. That is the league's wording. That is league admin wording. Let's watch it here. This is when it all happens. But just to be clear, that's not our feelings. That's not our wording. That is handed down from the BRP iRacing series. Let's listen. He lifts when he gets to him. Let's have it on it here again, and we'll turn the music down and everything. Listen, the engine note on this 98. We'll even turn it up for you. That is an interesting call. One more time. Wait for the replay graphic to finish up, and you will see and hear it here. Lifts there. So again, that is handed down from series officials. That is not at all our wording or anything like that. That is simply from the series. The series feels they've needed to hand that penalty down, and I don't disagree with penalties. I think it's always good to make sure drivers are doing the right thing, and that we can have good green flag racing here on Pit Stop TV, especially with this BRP iRacing series. It's important on these dirt tracks, I think, to get the full effect of tracks changing, to get that green flag racing, and that is the call made with that one. So then, Joe, we get a chance to go ahead and wrap things up and call it a night here at Fairbury. We already saw the upcoming broadcast. Let's look at it one more time, because there's a lot still going on this week. Again, tomorrow afternoon, evening, depending on where you're watching from or racing from, potentially, it's Knock Hill with the British Sim Racers. Then tomorrow night is the Nork iRacing Series National 300, continuing Nortona Speed Weeks at Daytona. Then it's the Ferrari GT3 Challenge and official iRacing Series in D-Class on road. That is Wednesday, and that is meant to line up with that BSR time slot. So 2:45 Eastern is when you can register for that. Well, actually, register before that. You can register beginning at 2:15 Eastern, 7:15 UK, and you have until 7:45 to do so. That is when the session launches. That is when the session begins and registration closes. So that is it this evening. Joe, final thoughts then from Fairbury.
I like Fairbury. I might buy Fairbury. I honestly don't have it yet. That's kind of a disappointment. I might buy Fairbury now. This great track. It did shape up for some pretty good racing. when it was clean, when it was green, you get kind of into a rhythm at a racetrack like this for yellows, but it was really exciting, and there was a lot goings on. Always great to see somebody get their first win. Happy to be here. Going to be excited to see what comes out of Eldora next time. It's going to be kind of back to a more predictable racetrack, and should be a little bit more of a train race, and maybe we won't necessarily see a big surprise winner. We could still, but definitely going to be cool to see in that penultimate race of the season.
So 2 races to go, and if you didn't see the graphic earlier, let's show it one more time. Eldora and the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Those are the next 2 races, January 31st and February 7th. See, I'm used to saying January. Even when I reference the final date of January, I still say January afterwards. So January 31st and February 7th, the final 2 races here for the BRP iRacing series with their big block season number 2. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of thanks to the partners here of the series. Let's see if I can remember them from the top of my mind. I think I can here. Bickner Racing Products, of course, the namesake of the BRP iRacing series. Matt Ritter Designs, Jam Performance, Lindy Direct, Creative Turnings, of course, at Waterford, Connecticut, and the Super Dirt Car Series. So that is it from the Fairbury Speedway. We thank you so much for tuning in this evening on Pit Stop TV. We thank you for being here and hopefully enjoying this show today. It's certainly been a show. And I want to thank, of course, Joe Donahue and Emerson Arden Joe on the call tonight and Emerson on social media. It's been a lot of fun. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. You can contact us at andrew@pitstoptv.com or on our social media and get in contact with us that way. We hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for watching once more. We will see you next time, hopefully tomorrow afternoon at Knock Hill.
wanna cry. wanna cry.